where it is right now?
Uh, Nirabu actually, from my research, is only visible, and it can be visible at certain times, from our southern hemisphere. And I subscribe to the belief that it is our binary star, our binary sun. So this is a binary system. Most solar systems are binary, and it would be unusual to have a system that does not have two suns. So, but getting, academia to come up to that point, and there are a lot of astrologers that don't subscribe to that either, but personally I do.
Hmm. Now, is Nirabu like a black sun?
Yes, it's like a
Okay.
dark star.
And now,
Yes,
is it a burned out star, or is it? It's not a black hole, is it?
it could be a black hole. It
Okay.
definitely could. I don't think, we've got Zachariah Sitchin's work, which is, pretty radical on Nirabu, uh, but no one really knows that.
Hmm.
But it very well could be a black hole.
Hmm.
And
Well,
it
I know.
rotates on a 3,600 year cycle through, we're close to it now. We're
Hmm.
very close.
Hmm.
Whether
Well, I
there's
know.
going to be, what the predictions are is really anybody's guess.
Hmm. Well, I know that they recently said they found a black hole in the Milky Way, which was kind of a surprise to them. But they never said it was they never called it Nirabu or Planet X. Sometimes that science fiction people call it Planet X, and so they don't usually call it Nirabu, but that's the actual name of it. Now,
Right.
who first predicted the discovery of this planet?
That would be Zachariah Sitchin, according to my work. Other people might have some more information on that, but it was, in the late 70s when I first read about it.
Hmm. Hmm.
But
And they predicted it had that 3,600 year. It's an elliptical orbit. Is that right?
yes, it. Think of it kind of like our suns. The sun and Nirabu will be opposed, and then they circle in and kind of pass by each other.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Now,
it's kind of a slingshot kind of thing. But we are lined up with the galactic center. We are lined up,
so
and
well,
we
that's what.
have entered that proton belt. So it's
Okay.
exciting times. I
Mhm.
mean, it's just very transformative.
Well, on December 21st, I'll talk about December 21st in a minute, but I did want to just ask you if about these gravitational pulls that Uranus and Neptune have had, and even Pluto. They say scientists have detected a mysterious gravitational pull on those three planets, and some people have said that that's the planet Nirabu. Have you come up with
Yes,
that as well?
yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That just resonates with me, John. I don't know whether it does with you or not, but it's just like, oh yeah, okay,
Mhm.
that's it.
Yeah, well, they've called it the 12th planet in our solar system, and it's just fascinating to think of. There's a planet out there that we still haven't really discovered with all of the technology that we have. That there's another planet orbiting or around our sun, and could be a sister star, like you say. So, because when it
Right.
comes to universe distances, there's they just don't
Yeah,
they don't.
that's a real relative term, because it's actually so far away, but the gravitational pull definitely affects, those outer planets and is doing that.
Hmm. Hmm. Now, what happened on December 21st that makes that date so special?
Um, our solar system and our sun has everything is just like rotates. It's all in cycles. So our solar system lined up with its sun, which is Alcyone in the Pleiades system. That is our solar system's central sun. Alcyone and some other planets have a central sun that is the Sirius system. So our solar system, Alcyone, Sirius, lined up directly with the galactic center.
Now, energetically, what would you say that would mean?
Ascension. You know, we're changing, and I think a lot of listeners out there know that, you know, the sun does not look like it did when we were kids. It's very hard to look at the sun now. It's so, you know, the energy that the energy's coming from it it's just amazing. So our sun is in an ascension cycle also.
Hmm. Well, do you think that because it's lined up with these other entities that it's pulling the sun or creating more solar flares and things like that? Because they've been talking about these new solar flares that are bursting or sending these huge energy waves to our planet, and
Right.
would that have any effect on it?
Oh, absolutely. Yes,
Mm.
absolutely. It's almost like he or she is being awakened, and in turn, you know, everything filters down. There's a great awakening on you know, on planet Earth now too.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, that's it's fascinating, and that the sun is lined up with these other celestial, I guess, stars, and it happened. Did they calculate that happened on the 21st?
Absolutely, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Happened on the 21st, but you know, it's still happening. And even we've been feeling the effects actually since about 1999.
Oh. Hmm. Well, now one thing I was going to ask you, you know, with astrology, you have retrogrades and you have you know, when still motion, things like that. Are we going to experience that with this particular aspect, or is there going to be are there any calculations to how these stars are going to match up with one another, or is that just in our solar system?
Well, you've got kind of we call it mainstream media. We've got mainstreaming astrologers out there that
Uh-huh.
are only concerned with, you know, what's going on in this solar system, which is you and I both know that's a lot that's going on
Hmm.
right now.
That's right.
But I've always been fascinated with what's going on with Sirius, you know, and just waiting, I think, since the mid '90s for, you know, to line up with Alcyone. So I don't
Hmm.
know. I've always been really, really interested in that. But I think the ascension and the ascension symptoms that a lot of us are having, that energy is facilitating it.
Mhm. Well, would you call the ascension kind of enlightenment or
Absolutely. Right.
okay. Okay. Well, that's important, and you know, it you don't come across these uh, monumental or long-term cycles ending very often, and you don't expect it to encounter them in our in your lifetime like we are. For instance, with the Mayans, it's a 5,200
Right.
year cycle, and now this is
Right.
a 3,600 year cycle. How they matched up, and then there's a 26,000 year cycle as far as the actual
Right. Yes.
signs are.
I
So
know. What an exciting time. It's just
it
so cool.
it really is. It's a very exciting time, but closer to home, we have other things that affect us more. Um, Substantially, I guess, with
Oh,
certain
yeah.
other planets,
We do.
and I know you wanted to talk about some of the aspects that are going on right now, and you know, every astrologer always likes to talk about Saturn. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about Saturn right now?
Saturn is in Scorpio now, so who the folks that are really, really feeling that are, of course, Scorpios, Aquarians, um, Taurus and Leo. So they'll generally be the one, hey, what's going on? Or if it's affecting, some other personal planets that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of time, it's a big indication of growth. And so we all know what that means. Sometimes that can be a little uncomfortable, but it's just, it's a large amount of growth.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing about Saturn going against the fixed signs is that those signs, Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, really don't like change, and Taurus, they don't like change.
That's true. That is very true. Yes.
And when Saturn comes around, it can cause a divorce. It can cause a career change. It can also indicate health issues. Major change in your life, and where it shows up in what house of your chart, it indicates the area where you're going to be making some changes, and so
it will definitely get your attention. Absolutely.
Yes. Now our country is a Cancer. It's
right.
Because it's July 4th, and with Saturn being in Scorpio, what would you say is the prognosis for our country in the next year?
I think Saturn being in Scorpio it's creating a good kind of a anchor or stabilizer there for that, that Cancer sun that our country has. But we certainly have other issues, which I think one of them, on a positive note, Neptune moved into Pisces, so collectively, as far as the country and the planet and even ourselves, we're being facilitated in manifesting maybe our hidden vision. Does that make sense at all? So that's kind of really a real cool thing. And Chiron in Pisces is deep mental, emotional, and spiritual healing. So that's coming. But we have to really be aware of this Uranus and Pluto square that's occurring right now, and I'm sure you're familiar with that, John. And
well, now that could be ominous signs there.
well, looking back in recent history, Uranus squared Pluto in the 30s. 1932 through 34, right around in there during the time of the Great Depression. And so I know we're all familiar with that because we read about it and we've heard the stories, from our parents and whatnot. And also Adolf Hitler was coming to power during that time. And during the 60s, when Uranus and Pluto were conjunct, they were sitting right on top of each other. In the mid-60s, well, we all know, it was a time of revolution and unrest. So we've come around to a square again, and I think, we can all see kind of that the unrest that's going on now.
Mm-hmm. Well, you bring up an interesting point because in the 60s, when Uranus and Pluto were together, and I hope the audience will forgive us for talking like two astrologers, but these two particular planets are very interesting. Uranus is the planet of sudden change and of the electricity. It's either the far past or the far future. It's the sign of genius, or it's it's about forward thinking, invention, those sorts of things. Whereas Pluto is the sign, or is the energy of transformation. It's the energy, nuclear energy. It can be death, destruction. It can be a lot of things. It's psychic ability. It's different things that are very, very deep, very, very deep. When you have those two energies together, it's fascinating. And when you have children born under that aspect, and we did in the 60s, they're going to do something when they get our age.
yes, they are. And it's explosive energy too. I don't necessarily mean that we're going to have explosions, but the two combined are explosive, and they usually will usher in a new historical cycle.
And if you see someone like President Obama, who was born in 1962, he was born under that aspect.
Yes,
So,
yes, he
so
was.
he's someone that is helping create a new reality. Now, that's not to say it's good or bad. That's not
That's right.
the issue. It's just that's the influence. You can see that he has a different path than what is traditional, and
Right. Absolutely. Yes,
it's
he does.
revolutionary. Yeah.
Right.
So it's just something that is that's worth noting that is going on, and with what would you